Yeah, she works for...
You just called Drea a bitch. Why would you call Drea a bitch, bro?
Well, because she works for Rebel News.
Why don't you go apologize?
No.
Why wouldn't you apologize?
Well, because she can stop being a bitch then.
Stop being a bitch. Okay, but you called her a bitch.
Yeah,
that's
she works
really
for Rebel
rude.
News.
Why am I here?
That's disgusting. You
Me.
should be ashamed of yourself. Don't you have the courage to go apologize?
Well, I'm not going to apologize until she stops being a bitch.
Not looking at much.
She's just worthless.
Well, people are just wanting to get mad.
No conscience. Do you?
Is there a reason that you're interviewing students?
No, I'm not interviewing. I'm not interviewing.
Really?
He called her a bitch.
Okay.
Is that acceptable?
Well, that's certainly his
That's
opinion.
disgusting.
We could argue all day about whether it's acceptable not to come to campus.
Disgraceful.
We could argue about whether it's acceptable to show up on campus and shove cameras in students' faces without having waivers. You know, in
You don't need a waiver for a
You're not
camera.
allowed to film people. It's only in the U.S. that you can film people in public spaces.
That's
In
not
Canada,
true.
you can't film people without their consent.
You're at university.
Especially not if you're going to publish it. This is not a public space.
are you
This is
going-
a private campus.
Are you going to university?
I'm not answering anything. This is not.
Okay,
This is
all
not
right.
a.
So just throw words at me then more.
No, this is not a.
You can throw words more at me if you'd like.
Listen. I haven't signed a waiver. This is not a formal interview. Okay, I'm not giving you personal information about myself. We can talk about what's happening, but I'm not telling you personal information about who I am.
Can I rebuttal? Nothing about you.
You can have whatever opinion
Okay,
you
sorry.
want.
This gentleman was asking this guy, why he. No, I work for myself, but thank you so much. I wouldn't work for Rebel. This guy just asked this guy why he called someone a bitch. And then he was trying to have let me finish. You let me. Then they had a conversation, and then you just came in and threw yourself into the conversation, and then started saying, "You're not allowed to film me." But you weren't even. You were standing like 6 feet over there.
I was actually standing over there.
You came from
but
right
it's very
there.
predatory
I hope.
to single out
Predatory.
students. Yeah, it is actually. It's very predatory to single out students who may be having more emotional reactions to what's happening to try to get a scoop when you're not legally a media source and they haven't signed a waiver, you haven't done the proper processes. Okay? This is
Are you
going
saying on media?
the internet. This is going on the internet. Okay, but
You're
there is
gonna-
no
I'm gonna make you
protection.
famous.
There is no. I don't give a shit about being famous.
Why
There
not?
is no
Yeah, no
protection
problem, bro. 100%,
about
you're famous.
What is going on? Okay, this is not the proper procedures. This is not ethical media. This is not a
There you go.
rational
Do you teach
cooperative
ethics?
debate.
Do you teach ethics?
I'm not giving you personal information about
Have
myself.
a great day. So you just keep yelling at me. You won't let me even have a conveson. So
I'm
have
not
a
being
beautiful day.
interviewed today.
You're not that important to be
I'm
interviewed.
fully aware of that.
You are a bitch.
Now we're in trouble. And even the NDP knows this, and they're nervous. They've got a big problem on their hands. And what do we do now? If we don't have private property rights, then nothing works.
That's right. That's the
the
backbone of our society.
The two things we need are rule of law and private property rights. And from that comes all the rest. That's where it brings you freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, life, liberty, and security of the person. And we have to get back to respecting all private property rights. And these land claims cannot come after, but they're actually coming after all the Crown land in BC too. So we know that the claims are for more than 100% of the land. And you know, where's this leading really? And only 4% of the population is Indigenous. This lie is really affecting the psyche of Canadians, and it's got to stop. And that lie was used to bring in UNDRIP, DRIPA, and VAST, and the amount of money
But didn't
going out to
Truth and
Indigenous.
Reconciliation start back like after World War II?
Pardon me?
Didn't Truth and Reconciliation start back in after World War II? Then the second one was in South Africa, and now we're watching the third.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because that's really like
You know, I actually think what's
Crazy.
happening here today is fantastic.
absolutely
Like, don't
100%.
you love this? Look, we're all out. We're talking. And there's different viewpoints, which is super healthy. Young people, like this should be happening everywhere.
I had some
This is
amazing
like
conversations with kids.
This is what Charlie Kirk was trying to do.
Yes.
And God bless him.
God bless him.
But you know what? He was trying to have discourse with people who disagreed. I don't mind someone disagreeing with me, but it has to be it's discourse. In the BC government right now, Tara and I find it's all one viewpoint being expressed. We are the only two, and we get hacked on relentlessly. And we're like, all we're doing, like, can no one have a different opinion here?
Have different opinions with your kids at the dinner table, don't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, unfortunately. I feel like saying, in this house there's only one opinion allowed and it's mine. And
It is the way it is. It is the way it is. But you can listen and debate with your kids like I do, 100%.
Exactly. But, you know, young people also are they're not hearing the diversity of viewpoints at the schools that they should be hearing. Like,
I just had a conversation with the kid. His family's from Poland, and he talked about his ancestors. And he's like, as soon as I'm done my schooling here, I'm out the fuck of here, and I'm back to Poland.
Yeah, I mean-
and I said, "Is your mother single?"
yes.
Because
I'll go with you.
I'm going. I'm
Because
coming.
Poland's been through it.
Yeah. Some good B-roll there, girl. You're good B-roll. Okay, boss. I'm so grateful to have a conversation. What's your name?
David.
David. So where are you from?
Vancouver Island.
But you're from
Poland.
You're from Poland. So what's happening here today in your eyes and your ears and your soul? What's going on?
I just see a lot of arguing and a lot of, I don't know, people that aren't necessarily educated enough to speak about a matter.
These are a lot of the students?
I want to say both sides.
There's
but
both sides, you think?
I think both sides, because one side is going, where's the evidence? Question everything. The other side is going, believe everything, which both can be bad in a way, because if you're questioning everything, you're not going to believe anything, even if it's true. And then these guys, they're just going to go with whatever they've been taught.
What do you think's going on here? Do you think it's crazy, or do you think it's normal?
I think it's crazy. I mean, it's good that people are expressing their opinion, but I think that there's no point for yelling. A civil conversation will get your point across.
100%. And you're going to university here to study some really cool stuff that you were telling me about. Do you want to stay in Canada once your schooling's done?
Absolutely not.
Do you want to go back home to Poland?
100%.
Can I marry your sister?
If I had one, but I don't.
What's your mom?
Yeah. She's single.
She's single? Okay, maybe we'll hook up.
I believe that the opportunity exists to prove or disprove, and I understand the science is there. We find oil, we find geology, we find all kinds of things.
You're talking about Charlie Kirk. You just brought up something about Charlie Kirk here. It was recorded. Yeah, it was. So I'm just wondering what you said. May I ask? No. Peanuts, right? Crickets? Chirp, chirp, chirp. Exactly. That's what I thought.
So you can't tell me that I don't understand the impact of residential schools because it was part of the Catholic Church that did it. Does it make you feel better to show up and say that children weren't killed?
Okay, Catholics at these schools, this was a Catholic school, you're right.
Yeah.
The Sisters of St. Anne and the Oblate Brothers and priests, and they were people who committed their lives to helping raise Indigenous people, give them English, give them the skills they don't like that.
They were also sent here from England because they were criminals.
I went
Talking about the 215 children claimed to be killed and buried in the apple orchard. You want to know the truth to that because you know what our
But I just told you that he said that it didn't happen.
You know what? At the end of the day, we're here to try and uncover the truth, right? We're trying to uncover what happened.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So don't you want to know the truth? I want to know the truth.
That's why
But
investigations were done.
Well, have they been done now?
Well,
$12.1 million was provided to this specific band to dig the bodies up, and nothing has happened there.
now this is
So
something
why?
you guys
So
have.
why?
I'm trying to give you an answer. This is something you guys have constantly repeated.
Let the gentleman speak. He's trying to speak. Don't yell.
You guys have constantly said to dig up the bodies, but I lived in this city when that shit went down, and I don't ever recall them saying to dig up the body. Why would they go and give money and tell them, go and dig up these bodies?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, no, go right ahead.
Why then would they give them $12.1 million if there was no purpose for that money? The money was put there for the purpose of digging up the potential bodies, to uncover, basically digging up the earth and seeing what was down below, right? That was what that money was actually earmarked for.
So in this decision to of them exhumed the bodies. So when was that decision, that part of the decision made that was saying, okay, this funding, this is what it's allocated for? Because I don't recall that ever being
I go
mentioned.
back to the history books of how many years, but that's what the money was.
Actually, 320 million was allocated across the country, and they dug in a bunch of different locations. They thought that there were 700 different locations in the country where there could have been these potential burials. And the funding was pulled earlier this year by the federal government because nothing was being turned up. So there's no more funding for any more digging. But the allocation given to the Kamloops band was 12.1 million. It started at 8 million and then they asked for more, and there was 4.1 more million given. And that money was not used for digging because no digging has taken place on the Kamloops band yet. But the position that we're taking is if you're not going to use it for digging, which is what it was for, it needs to be refunded with interest to the Canadian taxpayers.
But again,
Because it was for digging.
He's going to grok you.
It wasn't for other...
He's going to grok you or chat GTP you.
That's okay.
No, it's awesome.
That's
This
good.
is great. This is good. Information is good.
This is all-
Good
but the
information
whole
is great
idea that-
information.
So 12.1 million to the Kamloops band.
okay, hang on here. Let's have a look.
So the point about that is that if the money was earmarked for that and that's what the band accepted it for, then they had a duty to go ahead and do that job, and they did. Yeah,
Where?
it made the New York Post. Yeah, it's made it.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
How does that concern you? Because you're from Vancouver. You got elected in Vancouver. The person that got elected in Kamloops said Peter Milabach said that like these proposals were not acceptable. That these things were not acceptable. That
I know he doesn't like what I say.
He does,
Because I
exactly.
disagree with Peter Millibar. Because my view is that the whole Indigenous file, this whole situation with Indigenous peoples in British Columbia, is actually affecting every other file in this province. We can't move ahead. Our economy and this lie, this 215 lie, is at the root of a lot of this whole reconciliation industry. Because the bodies haven't been dug up yet.
In 16, it was 1789. I'll say it was in 1600. Yeah, just walk away because, and there are 215 bodies there. Absolutely.
Stop